Okay, so I'm going to do an extra video today, in addition to the one that the vlog that I normally do each week, because of recent events. There's a number of days ago, I couldn't sleep, and so I recorded this thing that I'm going to share with you. I thought about, just redoing the whole thing because I don't know if I really got my point across or if I really made any much sense, but I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. Hey, folks. So I don't normally watch the news. Back in 2009, I moved up to Alaska, stuffed my head in the muskeg, and pounded moss into both my ears and decided to forget about the world. And that's a long story about why I did that, but that's a story for another day. So, anyway, my family is kind of a filter about what's going on in the world, and if it's important enough, somebody will tell me that something's going on. And just a few days ago, I heard from my family that another black man was killed by a police in the good old US of A. And the sad thing is that if that hadn't been recorded, it would just be another statistic and nobody be up in arms and we'd be just going about our business as usual. But we are paying attention, and, I gave my token donation and, felt really dumb about that. And just have been thinking about, like, what can I do that would actually make some sort of difference? So I don't normally talk about politics on this channel because I don't really care if anybody is a Democrat or a Republican or an independent or a greenie, or if you're in some other country following some other political path. I don't really care. I like people on my channel, and as long as people are relatively civil, that's a jolly to me. But I vote, Democrat sometimes, Republican sometimes. I even vote for independents in the state of Alaska where they can actually get into office sometimes. So, yeah, I don't really care what background people come from. But what I'm about to say isn't really partisan anyway. It's, Democrats and Republicans have both had questionable moral backgrounds or actions in the past. And so this isn't really political. I think it's more about the particular person who is in office in the United States right now. And the fact is that the president who is in office right now is a racist. And most people in this country have some amount of racial prejudice. It's just been handed down. We're not really this great melting pot. We're more like little chunks of garbanzo beans and tomatoes and zucchini floating around and a little bit of juice that that we all share together. Um, yeah, we don't hang out together, and so we don't know each other, and so we have stereotypes of one another. I do pull my head out of the muskeg and yank out the moss every once in a while when we're about to have an election and I want to make an informed decision. And so I start paying attention. And that's what happened in the last election. And I started thinking, okay, well, who's this Trump guy? Wasn't he a successful businessman? That would be really great for our country. We could, if somebody who knows how to run a business might be able to do really good things for our country. But I started looking into his background, and well, I really wasn't all that impressed. And in fact, I was a little bit off put by some of the things. And I'm not talking about, somebody's language because, I swear like a sailor and I say objectionable things. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, misrepresenting one's successes and yeah, questionable moral decisions. And started thinking, nah, I don't know about this guy, right? So anyway, he was elected, and I was a little bit apprehensive, and I think a lot of people were. But I thought, maybe he'll step up to the plate, and he'll pull this off. But then, I kept watching. Usually, I stop after elections. I'm done. I stuff my head back in the muskeg, and I'm over it, and I do my thing. But I kept watching, and it was jaw droppingly upsetting what was going on. And
it all ended for me when we had all those hurricanes years ago. And in Puerto Rico, one of the things he said was something about, well, not that many people have died or something like that. I thought, if that was going on in a wealthy community in mainland United States, that would have been handled so differently. But these were just people, you know, over there, United States citizens, but some of them speak a different language, and they might have an accent, they might be of a different color, and so we're not going to be concerned about them. And I was so sickened by it, I just stopped watching, and I stuffed my head back in the muskeg, and I stuffed the moss back in my ears. I can understand, for those who voted for him, that, I mean, we didn't have a great choice. And so maybe they thought that he was the better choice. But now, looking at what we've got and the prospect ahead of us, would you hire this guy to be the principal of your school? If you were on the school board, would you choose this guy to be principal of your school? What if there was like a suicide? What if there was a crisis? What if there was some sort of violence? There are mixed races in our own community here in Wrangell, Alaska. Is this the guy we want to handle these situations? And for those who thought that this guy was going to maybe make America great again, not that we aren't a great nation already, but that maybe that we'd make some things better. I know I can look at some industries where he's muddled things up quite a bit. And so has he even made America great again? So for those folks who vote for this guy, just remember you are voting for a racist, and not to let anybody else off the hook. For those who are like, I'm just going to kind of wash my hands of this and I'm going to vote for the Green Party or I'm going to vote for some third party. Well, we don't have a viable third party in this country. We can work on making a viable third party. That's something we can do in the off years, but we don't have a viable third party that will win an election. So if you vote for a third party in this country in our national elections, you are voting for a racist. And if you don't vote at all because you think it doesn't matter or whatever else, you're voting for a racist. I think this is one thing that we can do because, the president isn't the solution. One man or one woman is not the solution to this problem. But the president does appoint heads of agencies to the federal government that then direct the people under them. And the president sets the tone for the country, what's acceptable. This is one concrete thing that we can do to make a difference. And it's really important not to let this situation get us, whatever you want to call it, bummed out, lose faith, lose hope. Well, I don't know that I have a whole lot of faith that human beings will be able to pull ourselves out of our predicament. I sometimes wonder if we're capable of it. But I always hold out hope, and we have to still find joy in life, and we have to still make take the small steps to make a difference. Yeah, we have to keep trying to make a difference.
So I guess kind of what I was trying to say is that, I made that small donation and I felt dumb about it because it's just such a small thing. I don't know that it makes much of a difference. I wanted to think of something that maybe we all could do that would make more of a difference. And I thought, voting would do it, would be something more. And I talked about, like, well, first of all, I want to say that I do understand that, again, we don't have much of a choice in our upcoming elections. I know that probably most people, a lot of people, are not happy with, couldn't we do better than this? But it is the choice that we have in front of us. And I talked about the principal, who would we hire for a principal in our communities? Because when you think about it that way, we've got a president who hasn't, just like with Puerto Rico and then the situation now and everything in between and before that. It's not like, everybody can make mistakes, even a couple of mistakes, but it's the pattern over and over again. And, so yeah, if we're trying to teach our kids not to bully and not to be bigots with their fellow classmates, is this guy really the one that we would choose to be principal of our school? And so anyway, yeah, I left a number of links in the video description below. My mom had sent me a video of some people speaking at a rally in Eugene, Oregon, and I think that at the end of that video where the attorney speaks, that she has a lot of really important things to say. And then, weeks ago, my sister sent a video about a black man who ended up befriending a white man who was a member of the, like, high ranking in the Ku Klux Klan. And I just thought it was really hopeful. I think it's kind of sad that it was a black man, and that oftentimes it's black people having to reach out and then ask for help. I feel embarrassed that it has to be another death before I pay attention again, And yeah, so then I'll leave another link for, I was watching a couple of videos by Braingirl, and she talked about a number of things that I hadn't thought about. One thing that she talks about is looking at her own subscriptions on YouTube, and I was doing the same, and I noticed that most of the people that I follow are white men, because women are not immune to being sexist, and so many of us have subconscious, even racial prejudices, discomfort, and yeah, but I mean, I think that the thing is that we have to keep working on it. That's the important thing, and I don't think that our president is interested in working on it. So anyway, that will be my video, and I will also do a regular vlog at the end of this week.